main motivation for this study came from a pilot study that we did with this tool we called a digital number line, and it happened in the fall of 2015. And that piqued my interest because I was looking at these students thinking about number and fraction using this tool, and given that the CCSS emphasizes the use of number line in middle school mathematics, we wanted to work out a way of understanding how students actually use this tool to think about fractions. And so we conducted a small-scale study where we used clinical interviews with 4 middle grade students and gave them an open-ended task such as the one shown over here in the figure. And it gave us a window into how they actually think about fraction addition and subtraction. So we conducted interviews with 4 middle grade students, and there were a few things that emerged from these interviews. And what we saw was we had a student who was incorrectly using procedures for adding and subtracting fractions and could not represent her thinking on the number line. We had a student who was able to use the algorithm quite well on paper, but did not actually connect it with the work on the number line. And he was actually a cheeky little fella because he actually used the measure tool to add his fractions on the number line and show what 5 on 6 and 3 on 2 add to using the number line, but wasn't able to make a connection between his work on paper and the work that he had done on the number line. However, we did have one student who was actually working several steps ahead of the question and worked out that he needed to have a common denominator of 6 and knew exactly what he was doing on the number line. This may or may not indicate that he was thinking about fraction addition deeply, but what this small-scale study means and what the implications are is that we need to do some more work and to understand how students are actually using this representational tool to think about addition and subtraction, what that means for teachers who are expected to use this representation tool in their classes, what they need to expect when students are using this, and what sort of thinking is going on when they're using this representation tool. From researchers' point of view, this study implies that we need to think about the features of this design, how we can improve them so that the experience for the students is as rewarding as it can possibly be. Yeah, thank you.
That's the trick about posters, you have to keep starting.
Juan recorded the following measurements on his rain gauge: 1/4 of an inch, 1/6 of an inch, and 7/4 of an inch in 1 week. Use your number line to locate these fractions. So first I would probably do equal partitions of 4 because that's the first number. And since it's 1/4, I would go to the first and say that's 1 of 4. So then I would put 1-4 and boom. But then for 1/6, I would do equal partitions of 6. And I would say that this right here is 1 of 6.
I think you equal partitioned, Alex.
Oh, thank you. 1-6. 1-6. Then for the 7/4, I can see that the 7 is larger than the 4. So I would have to, I would take this, the 1/4 measurement, and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then this would be 7 dash 4.